I'm going to share with you 9 crops every gardener should know that you could still plant in September for an incredible fall garden. The first crop every gardener needs to plant for their fall garden is lettuce. Lettuce is one of my favorite leafy greens to plant and grow for the fall. And if you choose a cold hardy variety like this extremely cold hardy marvel of 4-season lettuce, you could be growing lettuce deep into fall and even early winter. I'll sometimes start lettuce outside by scattering the seeds, and then once they germinate, I'll dig up each plant and plant them where I need to, or I'll start them in seedling salad trays. For the lettuce that I start in seedling salad trays, what I did is I'll plant 1 to 2 lettuce seeds per cell. And then the trick to getting good germination is you want to use a fine sifter to sift the soil. That way there is a very thin layer of soil. Or even better would be that you don't use any soil, because sometimes it could be better for lettuce to have light to germinate. But the important thing is that you keep the soil moist all the time while they are sprouting. The second crop that every gardener should be planting in September and every fall/winter garden needs is kale. Kale is known to be one of the cold hardiest green out there that you can grow, with some gardeners that are in zone 7 even growing kale into the next spring. The best time to start kale is 8 to 10 weeks before your first fall frost. The reasons you'll want to start kale that early, because most kale varieties takes 50 to 70 days before they're full-grown plants, which is how you want them going into winter. If you don't have those many days or weeks before your last frost date, that doesn't mean you can't still plant kale, because kale is still very hardy even while they're not fully mature and are like young plants. And plus, since the heat of late summer is still hanging around, most gardeners should still be able to plant kale and they'll grow rapidly. Just make sure to start them in early September if you're going to try growing some kale. The third crop that has to be in every gardener's fall garden is spinach. And that's because spinach is another cold hardy green with most varieties capable of withstanding a frost without much damage at all. Spinach will grow fast with temperatures around 15 to 18 Celsius during the daytime and will still continue to grow even when the weather starts to get colder in fall during the night. To start spinach, a method that I did in the past that I like is I'll take some spinach seeds and place them on a paper towel. Then what I do is I make sure that the paper towel is moist, and after I'll wrap the seeds and place them into a Ziploc bag. And I place the Ziploc bag with the seeds into our fridge for 3 to 5 days. And it's very important that you do not place your seeds in the freezer. You only want to place them in the refrigerator. And they'll begin to sprout within the next following days, and once they do, you can plant them outside or into seedling cells. Now what I found out starting spinach with this method is that more of the seeds will actually germinate and I'll get more spinach plant compared to if I just direct and take the seeds and plant them in the soil. Because spinach does not like to be started in the heat and needs some stratification, which is the method that I just shared with you. The fourth crop everyone could plant in September is arugula. Arugula takes 20 to 45-ish days to harvest. If you want them as baby greens, you could start harvesting them when they're about 20 days old and continue to harvest from the plants as they grow older. A planting tip for arugula is you'll want to make sure that when you're starting them, that you use a good quality potting mix and that you also start them indoors. Especially if the weather is still hot, because arugula does not like it and prefer a cooler temperature to sprout. So Tweaker just passed by our garden, so we're gonna give her a nice treat. You want? What do you say about it? Seems like she's afraid of the microphone. She don't want to be interviewed. The next crop you could start in September is Asian greens. From seed to harvest, bok choy takes 45 days. Bok choys are able to withstand some frost and get even sweeter after a frost, similar to how kale does. A bok choy variety that I like to grow because it's heat tolerant is the Shanghai bok choy. Most bok choy varieties prefer a cooler temperature between 12 and 24 Celsius, but the great thing with heat tolerant varieties like this Shanghai bok choy is that they won't bolt, which basically means to throw a long center stem and start flowering, and after bolting, the plant tastes so bad to the point where it's not edible anymore. The most important tip for any kind of Asian greens that you decide to grow is to make sure you keep the soil well watered at all times, because when the soil gets dry, it could cause them to bolt. Alright gardeners, the sixth crop everyone needs to start in September is radish. From seed to harvest, most radishes will take 21 to 30 days. And because radish takes so short, even a grower like me could plant radish still. My favorite variety to plant is a French breakfast radish or a cherry bella radish because they have less spiciness than some other radishes. These are some of my last remaining cabbage of the season, and it's the seventh crop to plant in September. If you have at least 8 weeks before your first last frost, then it might be a little close to plant cabbage, and ideally you'll want an additional 2 weeks, but you could still try planting cabbage if you're feeling adventurous. Cabbage is cold hardy to around -4 to -2 Celsius and could withstand some fall frost. Just make sure that if you decide to go grow some cabbages, that you don't choose any ordinary kind of cabbage varieties, but choose a fast producing one like this early Jersey Wakefield that takes 50 to 60 days till harvest. The next crop is similar to cabbage in the time it takes to grow, about 7 to 8 weeks, and it is broccoli. You could also grow broccoli if you're feeling to add something else to your fall garden. A bonus tip for your broccoli is that you'll want to plant them while it's still warm and around 18 to 23 degrees Celsius. The heat is better for the leaf growth on your broccoli plants, so they'll grow faster, and when they get cooler, they'll start forming the heads without the head going to bolt. And another bonus tip is to protect your broccoli with an insect netting to stop pests from getting in, so your broccoli plants are more healthier. The ninth crop that almost every gardener could plant along with the short season growers is garlic. Garlic can be planted in September, and although it may seem a little early, an Amish garlic growers said to us garlic could be planted in any month ending in E and R. Now you might have to shift your garlic planting time a little later in this month or into the next month depending on your location. And if you live in a super warm subtropical type area, plant garlic at the coldest time of the year. If you want to grow the big and best garlic of your life, then I highly recommend you watch this video over here for the most important tips planting garlic.